The stars shined cold and distant in the viewing chamber of the Calraxian scout ship. Commander Zexalon stood with his four arms crossed behind his back, yellow eyes fixed on the blue-green planet that filled the main screen. "Scan complete, Commander," said the science officer. "Class 4 prey species. Primitive technology. Limited space travel. Perfect for harvesting." Zexalon's mouthparts clicked with pleasure. The Calraxian Empire needed new hunting grounds, and this system had been marked as promising. Finding such easy prey was fortunate. "Prepare a capture team," he ordered. "I want samples before we call the fleet." Jack Nelson floated in the quiet space of the International Orbital Platform, watching Earth spin below. At 42, he was the most experienced astronaut on the station. He enjoyed these quiet moments during his shift. His radio crackled. "Jack, this is Houston. Dr. Wright needs to speak with you." Minutes later, Olivia Wright's face appeared on his screen. Her brown eyes looked worried. "Jack, we picked up strange signals past Pluto. They moved too fast and changed direction. This isn't natural." Jack frowned. "Aliens? Really, Olivia?" "I'm not saying that," she said. "But something is out there. And it's coming this way." "How long until it reaches us?" "At current speed, less than 12 hours. Frank Harris checked the systems on the small research satellite. The engineer had been sent up to fix a broken solar panel. It was routine work, but he enjoyed the challenge. A shadow passed over him. Frank looked up and froze. A ship hung in space, massive, dark, and unlike anything humans had built. Its surface had strange patterns that glowed green. His hand shook as he pressed his radio button. "Control, this is Harris. There's something up here with me." Static answered him. A beam of light shot from the strange ship surrounding the satellite. Frank felt the structure shake. They were being pulled toward the alien vessel. General William Carter stared at the images on the Pentagon's main screen. Satellite feeds showed an object in orbit, too large to be debris, too strange to be from Earth. "Sir," a young officer said, "we've lost contact with Research Station Delta and Engineer Harris." Carter's face hardened. "Alert all commands. Get the president on the line." Inside the Calraxian scout ship, Frank woke up in a cage. His head hurt, and his spacesuit was gone. He wore only his underclothes. In other cages, he saw the three scientists from the research station. A door slid open. Two tall figures entered. They had 4 arms, tough gray skin, and eyes that reminded Frank of a shark, cold and hungry. They wore armor made of some kind of metal with glowing parts. One alien pointed a device at Frank's cage. The front wall disappeared. A long arm reached in and grabbed him. Frank didn't think. He acted. His fist connected with the alien's face. The creature stumbled back, making a high-pitched sound. The second alien rushed forward. Frank kicked out, catching it in the middle. More aliens rushed in. Frank fought hard, but there were too many. They finally pinned him down. "Let me go," he shouted, still struggling. The lead alien stared at Frank with what looked like surprise. It turned to the others and made clicking sounds. In the command center, Zexalon watched the recording of the humans' resistance with disbelief. "This cannot be," he said. "Class 4 prey do not fight predators. They flee or surrender." "This one broke Warrior Kex's faceplate," his second-in-command reported, "and injured 2 others before being controlled." Zexalon studied the human male on the screen. The creature was still struggling against its restraints, showing no fear. "Continue testing all captured specimens," he ordered. "I must know if this behavior is common or an abnormality." He turned to the communications officer. "Send word to the fleet. Tell Grand Admiral Vexthor we have found something unexpected." As the message was sent, Zexalon felt something unfamiliar. A tiny spark of worry. In 300 years of conquest, he had never seen prey fight back like this. 1 week later, the skies over Earth darkened as the Calraxian war fleet arrived. 50 massive ships moved into position around the planet. On the command ship, Grand Admiral Vexthor studied the tactical displays. "Commander Zexalon, explain again why you delayed the harvest," Vexthor demanded. Zexalon stood tall despite his fear. "The prey species shows unusual resistance behaviors. Admiral, I thought it wise to." "They are still prey," Vexthor interrupted. "Their technology is primitive. Begin the invasion immediately." In Chicago, Officer Lisa Martinez directed traffic away from downtown. Strange objects had been spotted in the sky, and the police were clearing the area. "Please stay calm and keep moving," she called through her megaphone. A deafening sound shook the air. Lisa looked up to see what looked like giant metal eggs falling from the sky. One crashed into a building 2 blocks away. "Everyone take cover," she shouted, drawing her gun. The egg-shaped pod cracked open. 3 tall, 4-armed creatures in armor stepped out. They carried weapons that glowed green. Without warning, they fired at the nearest humans. Lisa didn't hesitate. She took aim and fired 3 shots. 1 alien fell. The others turned toward her with what seemed like surprise. People were screaming and running, but some followed Lisa's example. A construction worker swung a metal pipe at 1 alien. A bus driver rammed his empty bus into another. Within minutes, the street had become a battlefield. General Carter watched reports coming in from around the world. Alien forces had landed in every major city, but something unexpected was happening. "Sir, we're getting reports of civilian resistance in multiple locations," said Colonel Jones, sliding a tablet across the table. "Chicago, Mumbai, Sydney, Rio. Civilians are fighting back and actually taking down some of the aliens." Carter studied the footage from Chicago. Officer Martinez had organized civilians into a fighting force using whatever weapons they could find. They had killed 12 aliens and captured 1 alive. "They didn't expect this," Carter said quietly. "They thought we would run." On the Calraxian command ship, Vexthor raged at his officers. "How is this possible? They are prey." The tactical officer looked nervous. "Admiral, our forces report heavy resistance in all landing zones. The humans are using primitive weapons, but fighting with unexpected skill and coordination. They are even attacking our warriors with their transport vehicles," added another officer. "We've lost over 200 warriors in the first wave." Vexthor slammed his fist on the control panel. "Impossible. No prey species has ever fought back like this." Science Director Kelshera stepped forward, her movements careful. "Admiral, I believe we must reconsider our classification of these humans." "Explain," Vexthor demanded. "They show predator behaviors, but in bodies that seemed prey-like to our scanners. They may represent an evolutionary path we haven't encountered before." Lisa Martinez crouched behind an overturned car, reloading her weapon. The alien they had captured was secured in the back of a police van. Officer Martinez called a young man named Greg who had joined her group. "More of those pods are coming down near the river." Lisa nodded. "Tell everyone to gather whatever weapons they can find. We need to set up an ambush." She looked at the frightened but determined faces around her. These were ordinary people, shop owners, office workers, students, now preparing to fight aliens. The thought would have seemed crazy this morning. "They thought we would be easy," she told the group. They were wrong. Zexalon watched the battle footage with growing concern. In cities around the planet, humans were not only fighting back, but adapting to Calraxian tactics with alarming speed. "We need to rethink our approach," he said to Science Director Kelshera. "These humans, they fight like cornered predators, not prey." Kelshera's yellow eyes narrowed. "Perhaps they are neither predator nor prey as we understand the terms. They are something different." Outside the ship's viewports, Earth continued to turn, its blue oceans and green lands hiding a species that was proving far more dangerous than anyone in the Calraxian Empire had imagined. Dr. Samantha Ellis wiped sweat from her forehead as she studied the captured Calraxian. The alien was secured to a table in what had been a university lab before the invasion. Armed soldiers stood guard nearby. The alien's yellow eyes followed her movements. It had stopped struggling hours ago. "I think it understands we're not going to hurt it," Samantha said to her assistant. "Hand me that tablet." She held up the screen showing pictures of Earth animals. The alien showed no reaction to most images, but when she showed predators like lions and wolves, it made a clicking sound. "Interesting," she murmured. She pointed to herself. "Human," she said clearly. The alien clicked its mouth parts. Then it spoke, the words coming from a device on its armor. "Prey." Samantha shook her head. "No, human." She pulled up a video of a human hunting, then eating both meat and plants. "Human." The alien stared at the video, then at Samantha. Its eyes widened. "Not prey. Not predator." "Both," Samantha said. "We are both." Navy SEAL Chris Daniels moved silently through the dark corridors of the captured alien ship. His team of 6 followed close behind, their weapons ready. "Command wants this control room intact," Chris whispered. "We need to understand how they think, how they fight." They had studied the ship's layout from drone footage. The control room should be just ahead. 2 Calraxian guards stood at the entrance. Chris signaled his team. They moved with practiced precision, taking down both aliens before they could sound an alarm. Inside the control room, screens showed maps of Earth with red dots marking human resistance. Chris was surprised to see how many there were. "Look at this," said Martinez, the tech specialist. She pointed to a screen showing what looked like categories of species. "They organize everything as either predator or prey. There's no middle category." Chris frowned. "They don't understand omnivores. They don't understand us." On the Calraxian mothership, Science Director Kel Shera watched the human captive with fascination. The young male called Peter Johnson had been captured 3 days ago. Unlike prey species, he showed no fear. Instead, he studied everything around him with intense curiosity. This was his 5th escape attempt. He had nearly succeeded twice. "Remarkable," Kelshera said as guards dragged Peter back to his cell. In any other species, such behavior would mark them as predators. Yet their biology lacks the typical predator traits. Her assistant looked nervous. "The Admiral demands results. Our warriors are growing, uncertain. They say humans do not die properly. They continue fighting even when badly injured." Kelshera touched the control panel, bringing up human biological scans. "They evolved on a difficult world. They can endure pain that would stop most species. They heal quickly. They adapt faster than any species we've encountered." She paused, thinking. "I believe they represent an evolutionary branch we've never seen before. Not specialized predators like us, nor specialized prey. They are flexible." Peter sat in his cell, examining the small piece of metal he had managed to break off during the struggle with the guards. It might work as a lockpick. He had learned much during his captivity. The aliens saw the universe in black and white. Predators who ate, prey who were eaten. They couldn't understand humans, who had evolved as both. Their confusion was a weakness. Peter had noticed how the guards hesitated now, uncertain how to treat him. Not prey, not predator. The human didn't fit their understanding of the universe. He smiled as he began working on the lock. These Calraxians thought they knew everything about how life worked. They were wrong, and that mistake would cost them dearly. In Washington, General Carter studied Dr. Ellis's report on Calraxian psychology. "So their entire society is built on this predator-prey division?" he asked. Samantha nodded. "Yes, they literally cannot understand a species that doesn't fit either category. It's confusing them, making them uncertain. We can use that." Carter looked at the battle maps. Humans were holding their own in many places, despite inferior technology. "Send this to all command centers," he ordered. Let's show these aliens exactly what happens when you underestimate humans. 3 months had passed since the invasion began. Susan Clark stood at the edge of her farm in Montana, watching the sunrise with a rifle in her hands. The nearby hills hid 20 other farmers and townspeople, her militia. Movement to the east. Came a whisper through her radio. Alien patrol. 6 of them. Susan clicked her radio twice to acknowledge. The Calraxians had been pushing into rural areas, looking for food and resources. They hadn't expected resistance here. Remember, she said quietly into the radio, hit and run. No heroes today. The aliens appeared on the road, moving in formation. Susan raised her hand, then dropped it. Gunfire erupted from hidden positions. 2 aliens fell immediately. The others scrambled for cover, firing back with their energy weapons. Phase 2, Susan ordered. On the far side of the road, a truck engine roared to life. The old pickup burst from behind a barn, racing straight at the aliens. The driver jumped out at the last second. The truck, loaded with fertilizer and fuel, slammed into the aliens and exploded. When the smoke cleared, all 6 Calraxians were down. Clean up and move out, Susan ordered. They'll send more. Field Commander Krex slammed his fist on the table. This is the 3rd patrol lost in this region. How are primitive farmers defeating our warriors? His lieutenant looked nervous. Sir, these humans don't fight like regular prey. They set traps. They use their environment. They sacrifice their machines, and sometimes even themselves to win. Krex growled. I will lead the next assault personally. Prepare a full battle group. We will show these humans what real predators can do. Dr. Alan Rivera worked frantically in the underground lab. Around him, scientists from a dozen countries study pieces of alien technology. The power source uses some kind of crystal, said Dr. Chen from China. But we figured out how their weapons focus energy. Ellen nodded. Good. And the armor? Weak at the joints, said Dr. Patel from India. Our new rounds can penetrate there. A military officer entered the lab. Dr. Rivera, we're ready to test the prototype in Los Angeles. The aliens have been holding the city center for weeks. Ellen looked at the modified tank. Human technology combined with reverse-engineered alien power systems. Not perfect, but a start. Let's show them what humans can do when we put our minds to it, he said. High above Earth, astronaut Diane Foster floated in the darkness of the damaged space station. The aliens had ignored it after the initial attack, thinking it harmless. They were wrong. Diane had spent weeks studying the alien communication signals using the station's equipment. Now she was ready. Houston, if you can hear me, I'm proceeding with Operation Blackout, she said into her radio, knowing no one might be listening. She connected the modified transmitter to the station's main power. The device began broadcasting a signal that matched the aliens' command frequencies, but scrambled. On the Calraxian command ship, alarms blared. What's happening? Demanded Admiral Vexthor. Communication disruption, reported an officer. All channels to ground forces are filled with noise. We can't coordinate the fleet. Vexthor stared at the screens showing the battle for Los Angeles. Human forces were advancing with new weapons that cut through Calraxian armor. Without communication, his forces couldn't coordinate. Find the source of that signal, he roared. In Los Angeles, combined human forces pushed forward behind the new tanks. Their modified weapons worked exactly as designed. For the first time, Calraxian warriors were retreating. General Carter watched the live feed from command. Push them back to the ocean, he ordered. Don't give them time to regroup. His aide approached with a tablet. Sir, we're getting reports from Montana. A large alien force led by a high-ranking commander is attacking the militia there. Carter frowned. Send whatever support we can spare. Those farmers have been a thorn in the alien side for weeks. Susan Clark aimed carefully and fired. Another alien fell. But there were too many this time. A massive Calraxian in ornate armor strode forward, pointing at her hiding place. This had to be their commander. Energy bolts tore through the trees around her. "Fall back to position 3," she shouted into her radio. The alien commander seemed to understand her plan. It changed direction, cutting off her retreat. Susan didn't hesitate. She charged directly at the surprised alien, firing as she ran. This wasn't what prey was supposed to do. The Calraxian commander hesitated for just a second, and that was all Susan needed. Kevin Miller moved silently through the forest. Before the invasion, he had been a park ranger. Now he was a hunter of aliens. Through his binoculars, he spotted the Calraxian hunting party. They were tracking General Carter's convoy, which had passed through 2 hours earlier. The aliens thought they were the hunters. Kevin smiled grimly. They were wrong. He touched his radio. "Team, I count 6 targets moving south. Elite hunters based on their armor. Set up at point B." Kevin had studied Calraxian behavior for months. Their hunting patterns were predictable. They always acted like apex predators, never considering they might be hunted themselves. 20 minutes later, the aliens walked into the ambush. Shots rang out from hidden positions. 3 aliens fell immediately. The others fired wildly into the trees, but hit nothing. Kevin raised his rifle and aimed at the lead alien. He squeezed the trigger. The alien dropped. "Clear," came the report through his radio. Kevin approached the fallen aliens carefully. "Bag all their equipment. Dr. Ellis will want to study it." One of his team members looked nervous. "They'll send more when these don't report back." Kevin nodded. "That's what we want. Every elite hunter they send after us is one less attacking our cities." Admiral Vexthor paced on the bridge of his command ship. "Deploy the bioweapons. I want these humans weakened before the next attack wave." Science Director Kelshera stepped forward. "Admiral, I must object. We haven't properly studied human biology. The weapons may not work as expected. They are prey." Vexthor shouted. "Different, yes, but still prey. The bioweapons will work." Kelshera watched as the order was given. She had studied the captured humans extensively. She knew something the Admiral refused to accept. Humans were far more adaptable than any species they had ever encountered. Dr. Samantha Ellis stared at her microscope in amazement. The captured Calraxians' blood cells were breaking down when exposed to Earth bacteria. Their immune systems are highly specialized, she told the team around her. They've never been exposed to our microbes. General Carter, who had just arrived at the lab, frowned. "Can they adapt?" "Not quickly," Samantha replied. "I think that's why they're launching bioweapons. They're vulnerable to our environment, and they know it." Carter nodded. "Can we use this?" Samantha smiled. "We already are. The air filters on our captured alien ship are loaded with harmless Earth bacteria. When we fly it up to their fleet, the bacteria will spread through their ventilation systems." On the Calraxian mothership, Warrior Zex looked at his trembling hands with horror. Around him, other warriors showed similar symptoms: weakness, shaking, confusion. "What is happening to us?" he asked the medical officer. "Some kind of contamination," the officer replied. "Many warriors are reporting fear, actual fear when facing the humans." Zex had felt it too, a creeping terror when ordered to join ground forces. This wasn't normal. Calraxians were predators. They caused fear, they didn't feel it. "Are we being poisoned?" Zex asked. The medical officer looked away. "Perhaps, or perhaps we are experiencing something our species has not felt in thousands of years, the knowledge that we may not be the apex predator after all." Captain Maria Rodriguez led her small team toward the downed alien dropship. Intelligence reported it had crashed with minimal damage. "Remember," she told her team, "we need this ship intact. This might be our only chance to get their flight technology." They approached carefully. 2 injured aliens guarded the entrance. Maria signaled her team. Silent shots took down both guards. Inside the ship, they found the control room. A dead pilot lay slumped over strange controls. "Begin recording everything," Maria ordered. "We need to figure out how to fly this thing." Her tech specialist placed small cameras around the controls. "This could be the key to reaching their fleet, Captain." Maria nodded. "And once we can reach their ships, we can end this war." In his private chamber, Admiral Vexthor received disturbing reports. Human resistance was growing stronger. Calraxian warriors were experiencing psychological problems. The bioweapons had failed to slow the humans down. Worse, there were reports of humans actively hunting Calraxian elite forces. For the first time in his long life, Vexthor felt doubt. The humans had done the impossible. They had turned predators into prey. He stared at the image of Earth on his view screen, such a small planet to cause so much trouble. "What are you?" he whispered to the image. General Carter stood before screens showing military leaders from around the world. After months of fighting separately, Earth's forces were finally uniting. "Operation Turning Tide begins at dawn," Carter said. "For the first time, we take the fight to them on a global scale." The plan was ambitious. Simultaneous attacks on all major Calraxian strongholds using the new weapons and tactics that had proven effective. And most importantly, a strike against their orbital fleet using captured alien ships. "The Russians and Chinese forces will hit their Asian bases," Carter continued. "European and African forces will strike in their sectors. North and South American forces will target their command centers here." "What about the orbital strike?" asked the Indian general. Carter nodded to a woman standing nearby. "Captain Rodriguez will lead that mission. Her team has learned to pilot the alien vessels. They will deliver our special package to the mothership." Maria stepped forward. "My team has trained for weeks in the captured dropships. We can do this." On every screen, the military leaders nodded. Humanity was ready. In the Calraxian command ship, a heated argument was underway. "We must withdraw and reassess," Science Director Kelshera insisted. "These humans do not follow any pattern we recognize. Our casualties increase daily." Admiral Vexthor slammed his hand on the table. "Withdraw. Never. We are Calraxians. We are predators. We do not retreat from prey." "They are not prey," Kelshera said quietly. "That is what you refuse to understand. They are something new." The Admiral turned away. "Prepare the final assault wave. We will commit all remaining forces to crush their resistance once and for all." As Kelshera left the command room, she wondered if the Admiral's pride would destroy them all. Joe Barnes had been a construction worker before the invasion. Now he led a team testing a strange discovery. "Play it again," he told his assistant. The device emitted a high-pitched sound. On the screen, they watched the captured Calraxian warrior writhe in pain. "They can hear frequencies we can't," Joe explained to the military observer. "This sound is harmless to humans, but disables their neural systems temporarily." The observer nodded. "How quickly can you build more of these devices?" Joe smiled. "We've already made 500. We can deploy them tomorrow." "Perfect timing," the observer said. "Operation Turning Tide launches at dawn." Emma Phillips checked the controls of the captured alien vessel one last time. As a flight instructor before the war, she had the skills needed for this mission. "All systems operational," she reported to Captain Rodriguez. "Though I still feel like I'm flying with oven mitts on." Maria nodded. "Just get us to the mothership. After that, it's up to the science team." Their small fleet of 5 captured ships was humanity's first push into space since the invasion. Each carried scientists, soldiers, and a special payload of Earth bacteria designed to spread through the Calraxian fleet. "Launch in 30 minutes, Maria announced to the teams. "Remember, we only get one shot at this." Dawn broke across the world. In every occupied city, human forces moved into position. In Chicago, Lisa Martinez checked her weapon. Her police unit had become one of the most effective fighting forces against the aliens. "They think they know what we'll do," she told her team. "They think they can predict us. Let's prove them wrong again." As the sun rose, humanity launched the largest coordinated attack in its history. In London, Paris, and Rome, human forces pushed into alien strongholds with sonic weapons that left the Calraxians disoriented and vulnerable. In Beijing, Moscow, and Delhi, tanks equipped with modified alien technology broke through Calraxian defensive lines. In New York, Los Angeles, and Mexico City, militia groups attacked from underground tunnels the aliens hadn't known existed. And high above, 5 stolen alien ships approached the Calraxian fleet. On the mothership, Admiral Vexthor received reports of attacks around the globe. For the first time in his life, he felt something new, not just doubt, but fear. The predator had become the prey. 1 year after the invasion began, the Calraxian mothership hovered over Geneva, Switzerland. Below it, the United Nations headquarters had become humanity's central command. Inside the mothership, Admiral Vexthor prepared for a final desperate attack. His once mighty fleet was reduced to a handful of ships. The humans had proven impossible to defeat. "The dropships are ready," Admiral reported his last loyal commander. Vexthor nodded. "We will lead the attack ourselves. Target their leadership. Without their heads, the body will fall." Even as he spoke, alarms blared throughout the ship. Human forces had breached the lower levels. "Impossible," Vexthor roared. "How did they get aboard?" Science Director Kelshera watched from the side. She had warned him. The humans were adaptable, unpredictable, and now they had mastered Calraxian technology. "Admiral," she said quietly, "there is another option. We could speak with them. Negotiate." "Negotiate? With prey?" Vexthor laughed bitterly. "I would rather die." "Then you will," Kelshera replied. "And for what?" "Pride. Fear of changing what we believe." Before he could answer, the doors to the command center exploded inward. Richard Bennett, UN Secretary General and leader of the human resistance, watched the battle unfold on the screens before him. Human forces had breached the mothership using the captured dropships and Emma Phillips' piloting skills. "We're approaching the command center," reported Captain Rodriguez through the radio. Heavy resistance. Suddenly, the feed from Rodriguez's camera showed a massive chamber with strange controls. In the center stood 2 Calraxians, one in elaborate battle armor, the other in what appeared to be civilian clothing. The armored one charged forward, firing wildly. Human soldiers returned fire. The alien fell, its body smoking from multiple hits. The other Calraxian did something unexpected. It raised all 4 arms in what seemed to be a gesture of surrender. "Hold fire," Rodriguez ordered. "I think it's trying to communicate." Kelshera looked at the dead admiral, then at the humans who had killed him. She had one chance to save what remained of her people. "I am Science Director Kelshera," she said through her translator. "I wish to speak with your leaders about ending this conflict." The human leader stepped forward. "I am Captain Rodriguez. We can arrange that." 2 days later, in the United Nations Hall, Richard Bennett faced Kelshera across a large table. Scientists, military leaders, and representatives from both species filled the room. For 1,000 years, the Calraxian Empire has classified all species as either predator or prey, Kelshera explained. "We believe this was the natural order of the universe." She gestured to the humans around her. "You have shown us we were wrong. You are neither simply predator nor prey. You are adaptable in ways we never imagined possible." Bennett nodded. "Humans evolved as omnivores. We can be both hunter and gatherer. It gives us flexibility in our thinking." "A flexibility we lacked," Kelshera admitted. "Our rigid beliefs nearly destroyed us. I propose a peace between our peoples and an exchange of knowledge." Bennett looked at Dr. Ellis, who nodded encouragingly. "We accept your proposal. The Earth-Calrax Accord will establish boundaries and begin a new chapter for both our species." 6 months later, Dr. Samantha Ellis walked through the new Joint Research Center with Kelshera at her side. The facility had been built to study both human and Calraxian biology and technology. "Your people learn quickly," Kelshera observed. You've already improved on some of our designs. Samantha smiled. And your medical knowledge has helped us cure several human diseases. This is what cooperation can achieve. Outside, Lisa Martinez was training a mixed group of human and Calraxian security forces. The aliens were learning human tactical flexibility, while humans benefited from Calraxian physical strength. Do you think other species in the galaxy will accept this new understanding? Samantha asked. Kelshera's yellow eyes seemed to smile. They will have to. Together, our peoples represent something new in the galaxy, a partnership that transcends the old categories. She looked up at the stars visible through the transparent ceiling. The galaxy thought humans were prey. Now they all know better.